Good morning, Eastern Oregon, and welcome to this August 22nd version of AM Live on EOA, your connection to Eastern Oregon. We're glad you're here with us, and don't forget that we have a Roku channel, and you can always find our content there.
It's easy, too.
Yep.
Real easy.
Yep.
I'm back in my chair. I felt really weird sitting over there.
Yeah, things like that just are a little out of sync, isn't it?
Well, you know, I'm like all about my.
Oh, I know.
I have to have everything like, and then I'm sitting over there and there's all this stuff, and I'm just like 2 mouses, like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
But it worked. We got her done.
No, yeah, and that was a great interview you had with Amanda the other day.
She's easy to talk to.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah, especially because her and Dino are so involved in so many things, and
they got kids that play sports.
Dino
helps coach. You see them at all the games. Remax does their stuff with EOU basketball.
Yeah.
Where they put the money out on the court, and the little kids crawl around with their blindfolds on and try to get the money. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
they do it at wrestling too.
No, it's good stuff. They're big, and I don't know if you know it, but Kyle, my son-in-law, and Dino, and then Michaela and Amanda, So there's lots of.
So it's like her best friend is one of your daughters, and then his best friend is one of his best.
So both Dino and Amanda spent a lot of time at our house when they were teenagers.
Because they're about the same age.
Yeah,
but didn't she grew up in Cove? Oh no, she said she came to high school here.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
that's a big family too. I mean, all of her like step siblings I grew up with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a big family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Cool.
All righty. Well,
some sports.
All right. I got to get. I'm not in the right place, but.
Wait, no, you need. Okay. You got a job to do.
Okay. Yeah, really appreciate our sponsors. One of our sponsors, Valley Insurance downtown here in La Grande. And if you're losing your Oregon health plan, be sure and reach out to them. They can help you reapply, I would imagine.
Yeah. Restructure
or find some alternatives. That's something that they do all the time. So again, Joel and Matt downtown. Be sure and check them out. They're doing a huge remodel at the bank down there. They purchased the old Umpqua Bank building in downtown La Grande, and big stuff going on there. So appreciate their support, not only what they do as a business, but also what they do to the community to support it. So
Valley Insurance, 541-963-3121.
All right.
Let's do sports.
All right.
I'm going to talk a couple of things today, sports. EOU volleyball. Last week, they went 4-0 on the week. They beat 2 ranked teams. They're currently sitting at number 3 in the country with only Corbin and Jamestown in front of them. Jamestown, who only lost 2 games all last season, 2 matches, lost 3 matches this week as the number 1 team. And then Corbin, who was in the national finals against Jamestown, the national champions last year, lost a match this week. So EOU volleyball looking like they might move up to number 1 in the country again. They're on their way to Hawaii right now. Check out their Instagram at EOU volleyball, because they're doing a little thing where they're letting you ask questions while they're flying to Hawaii. What awesome. You know what I mean? Like, in college, I never got to go to Hawaii for a week. You know what I mean? Like, they don't play till Friday. They're flying today. So they have today and tomorrow. I'm sure they're going to practice a little, but man, fly to Hawaii, go hang out, like that wouldn't be a bad deal. But when you're as good as they are, people like supporting teams that are good.
Yeah.
And so that makes it kind of easy to take trips like that.
We can hear you.
Sorry about the distraction. La Grande football. We kick off a week from Friday at home against Weiser. I sat down with the brand new head coach, Dalton Sheets. Here's a little bit of that. So you're taking over the reins as the head coach from Rich McEmoyle. Last year we made it to the quarterfinals, lost to Tillamook. What are your goals for this year?
Man, I would say for us, like I feel like we're going to compete in every game that we go play. Like we lost obviously a large senior group, but we have
22 of them.
Yeah, it's pretty big, and we got a handful of seniors this year that some of them have played some and some of them haven't played a lot, but I think they're ready to jump up and fill some roles. So I would just say we're young in terms of varsity starting experience, but we got guys that have been working really hard the last week and a half, and I don't know. It'll be interesting to get to our jamboree, kind of see where we're at against different color jerseys.
Yeah.
Because you get to a point where your defense kind of knows what the offense is doing, and vice versa. So, I don't know. I think we're going to be right in a run for hopefully competing for a league championship and getting some playoff games. That's my goal. Yeah.
I don't think that's like out of the realm of possibility at all. Yeah, Dalton Sheets there, the new head coach at LeGrand. He's been involved here in LeGrand for about 10 years in coaching. The full interview will come out later this week. It's a new era in LeGrand football. Rich McElmo's out, Dalton Sheets in, and we're going to see what happens. He's got 22 seniors left from last year. That's a lot of seniors.
Right.
And a lot of really good players. And this year, somebody's going to have to step up. Carter Peasley will take over the helm at quarterback. And I'm sure we're going to see a lot of David Sane at running back. And outside of that, everybody knows how important offensive line is in football. And that's where we're going to have to figure it out. And because we lost, 3 first-team all-conference offensive linemen. So we'll see. I got faith in it. I think we'll do okay. The Pendleton game's a little bit, always, in question, but outside of that, I think we'll do pretty well in the GOL. Yeah. That's all I got for sports. Good morning, TJ. What's up?
And talking about sports and football, at this point, the plan is for us to carry all of the Pendleton and LeGrand home games. So there'll be more information about that. And if you have a business and you want to advertise during those great games, which is a great value, be sure and talk to us, or we'll come.
Yeah, a ton of people watch those games. I do the home games for LeGrand, and there's easily 200 people watching live, which is, for here, that's insane. That's a really good pull.
Yep. So, all righty. Well, let's take a look outside. It's drizzly. This is
the teaser.
Yeah, this is the remnants of Hillary. That's what they say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Hillary the hurricane. Yeah.
Dodger Stadium was crazy, though.
I know, I saw that. Like you showed me that. It's like nuts.
A moat around it.
Yeah. So here's kind of the weather forecast. There is a flood watch for the area.
It's only going to get up to 67 today.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, but then it's going to start cranking back up.
Yeah. So next couple of days after that should be sunny. So I think once this system moves through,
it's probably good for
we'll kind of
fire
be back.
danger. I would imagine.
Yeah.
Benny said he got up this morning to take a run, which was probably long before I got up.
Yeah.
And he said it was just pounding rain.
Yeah. Well, and I haven't talked to the farmers, but I'm sure they're going to love this for their fall wheat and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
They need it. So, all righty. Well, cool. Well, today we have David and Jeanne Williamson, who have relocated to LeGrand a couple of years ago. They have purchased the Meridell Center building, and they're going to kind of fill us in on their story and what's going on in their lives. Really appreciate they've invested a great amount into the community in bringing their business here, and it'll be interesting to hear their story. We'll be right back right after this. right, we're back with David and Jeanne Williamson from Evermine Labels, right?
Right.
And,
right.
Yeah, and Evermine. Where did Evermine? Where did that?
She's the one that came up with that name.
She is. Does it have a story? Let's start there. Where did
Well,
Evermine
we
come
started
from?
out with a different name called My Own Labels.
Okay.
And at some point down the road, you decided that we needed to change that name
Yeah.
for whatever reason. I don't.
We were moving into wedding invitations,
Okay.
which turned out to be way, way bigger than we could handle.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the competition was massive.
Yeah.
And we realized it just wasn't going to work. And
Okay.
it wasn't our market and it
Okay.
wasn't our specialty.
And the ever part was the wedding part.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and we had already changed our name once. So
Yeah.
we said, okay, we're not doing that
We're sticking
again.
with it.
So
Okay.
here we are.
Okay.
Evermine Labels.
Well, cool. Well, great. Glad to have you guys. And Jeanne, you and I have spoken a number of times. And David, you and I just, I think the
Briefly.
last time I saw you was at Halloween time, and you were
Yeah,
dressed.
that's right.
But what were you dressed
I
as?
wasn't
can't-
dressed up. I was just there watching.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Well, cool. So tell us. So you guys were in Portland for how long? Let's start there, and then
we were there. Our
and then
business,
why LeGrand?
our
That's the big
business
question.
started
Yeah.
in the year 2000.
Okay.
We've been in business 23 years now.
Okay.
And we started in a small suite of rooms in downtown Portland with one printer, and we grew from there. We moved into another building in Portland, and then gradually I got to the point where we just wanted to get out to Eastern Oregon, and we left. We moved our business here last year in August of
Wow.
2022.
So it took years of planning and years of decision making. Our daughter moved here, Lorraine Farron, 5 years ago.
Okay.
And we had been coming up into this part of the country for decades,
Mhm.
doing backpacking up in the Willowes
Okay.
and skiing in the Elkhorns.
Yeah.
So we knew the area, but we'd never come into downtown LeGrand,
Okay.
always driven right by.
Yeah.
So Lorraine moved here, and I went with her the first time she came, and we went downtown. We went to Side A, we walked up and down the streets and looked in the little shops, and we introduced ourselves to people. And I thought, what a lovely little town.
Yeah.
It was after all these years, it was a real surprise. And then I remembered that when I was in my 20s, I had wanted to live in a small town,
Hmm.
and it didn't happen. I ended up in Portland. Well, I remember that, and I thought, well, if you're going to do it, you better do it now.
Yeah.
So we looked for a house, and we found one that we liked, and bought it. And we were doing commuting. And then when it was time to make a decision about what were we going to do with our business, our lease was up. And Portland was not as nice as it used to be. And so we decided to move to LeGrand. And that building, the Meridell Center, came up for sale, and we realized that we could make that work for us. So that was about 2.5 years ago,
Wow.
and spent a year or more than a year getting it ready, and moved a year ago.
Wow.
So here we are.
So we had several people move from Portland
Yeah.
over with us, but since then we've hired more local people.
Mhm.
So we're up to I think 7 or 8, 9 local people now
Okay.
here, and we still have some from Portland who've moved over. So
Yeah.
And then you have some remote people also, right?
that's
We
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So how many employees altogether do you have?
I think it's 17.
I think that
Yeah.
sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have somebody in Chicago who comes here about 3 times a year. And we've got 4 people in Portland. We've got a couple of people in Missouri. And this all worked well because of COVID. And we
Right.
learned how to do remote.
Yeah.
And so we've got all these people who are remote.
Yeah. And I remember you kind of gave me a little tour. It's probably been about a year ago. And you have the rack where the remote employees are. And
Right.
And
With
this
their
is
names
so
on
and so,
it.
this is so and so,
Yeah.
this is so and so. Yeah.
So if we want to check up on them, we just go into that room and look at their computer. And if the
You can
lights are
tell, yeah, they're
blinking, then
active,
we know
yeah.
they're-
They're on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, how interesting. I mean, did you have any remote employees when you were in Portland?
During COVID.
Yeah, well, okay.
Well,
But before that,
before that, going way back, we had
Yeah.
someone in San Diego for
Okay.
about 8 or 9 years.
okay.
Worked pretty well.
Yeah. Well, cool. And so, I mean, how's it? I mean, the Maridale Center is how many square feet is in that
There's
building?
about 27,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge building.
Yeah.
4 floors. Is that right?
3 floors.
3 floors. Yeah. And so then you guys have your printing business has kind of taken over the major portion of the main floor. Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of tell me kind of what you're thinking about doing with the rest of the building, because I know from the conversations that Jeanne has a plan. I don't know if that is that you. Are you involved in that, or is that
I'm watching her do this. She loves doing this.
Right,
and, she's talking to contractors and city planners and applying for grants.
Yeah.
And it's really fascinating to watch. I think Jeanne is she's at her best right now and doing all that.
So do you?
DC, let me interrupt for a second
ahead.
before we go any further. For the viewers, we need to tell them what what you guys do.
Yeah,
because we have a lot of people that are watching. That what is your business?
So show us. So
you tell.
Can I do a little?
yeah,
show and
yeah,
tell?
do it. And you can see you have to hold them up
Okay.
so that people can see the products.
Okay.
But
So
there's-
we make labels. That's what our company is. We're a label printing company. We started out providing labels to DIY people like me who make jam. Here's some jam. I don't know if you can see this. Pretty hard to see. Homemade jam is how we started.
Yeah.
I labeled my own homemade jam and gave it away for Christmas. This is one of my favorite products, which is labels for my spices.
But show them one of the rolls so they can, because this is how. Yeah.
So we graduated to roll labels about 5 years ago.
Okay.
And we do all kinds of different kinds of labels for different kinds of products. This is for a spray and wash. Come on rolls, and there are machines that will apply these to containers, and that's why rolls are so popular. You can buy large quantities. Here's a really cute one, humble pie. So all kinds of different products. Let me see. Here's a little paw. This is for Paul's dog treats. And barbecue sauce.
So then did you start in the sheet label business and then you went to the roll label? Is that kind of how it progressed? Yeah.
We did sheet labels for short runs for people who make their own jam.
And
their own
they could still
pickles.
do that.
They can still do that. And
Okay.
it's a great way to make your homemade products look professional. We
Okay.
also do a lot for farmers market people who are just starting out in
Yeah.
business. The roll labels are for big time people who want
Right.
to order large quantities.
Okay.
So that's what we do, labels, and we sell them all over the country, all over the world.
Okay.
We ship them out from here. We lose about 4 hours by being here instead of Portland.
Okay.
So Heidi has to get up early in the morning, a couple hours earlier in the morning to meet the FedEx pickup here.
Oh, okay. So, but like a winery, for instance,
Yeah.
and that the label that someone might see on that bottle,
Yes.
that is the kind of thing that you could do all day long.
Yes.
Yeah,
It
and
comes from us.
typically wineries and other big companies like that will have their own label produced.
Okay.
I mean, they'll have the design produced.
Okay.
And then they send it to us, and we apply it, print it on
Right.
on these labels.
And then they have a machine that will take
off.
that roll label and apply it to their
Yeah, and they
bottles.
have to tell us which way they want it to come off.
Okay.
Yeah, forward or backwards or something like that.
Okay. Cool.
Who's your biggest contract?
Our biggest.
Yeah,
we-
like
do
who
we
what's
tell?
the bit?
We don't tell.
Oh yeah. That's a secret.
We
Yeah.
We don't tell.
Yeah. Or maybe you say a company like.
I will say that we have a number of local companies.
Yeah.
Here in Eastern Oregon, up in Joseph, and here in LeGrand, and it's very heartening to see the response from the local community to using our labels. And I think one of the reasons is people need labels for their business. Hey, they would rather order one close at home instead of sending it off and waiting for it to come. So it's working pretty well here.
We have as much will call people coming into the building to pick up here as we did in Portland.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
I could go into a list of names, but I don't want to. But we've got 7 or 8 local businesses up and down northeastern Oregon using our labels now.
That's awesome.
So as far as your question about who was our biggest, we can tell you that we wholesale for other companies, co-packers who produce products or who label products for smaller companies. We provide them with labels, and then we also provide labels to distributors on their websites. So those are our biggest clients, are people like that.
So, but then for someone, David, you mentioned like a winery might have an artist that designed, they have that already figured out and they give that to you. But you guys are also on the design end for somebody that doesn't. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we have a whole lot of designs already prepared, templates that you can pick and choose on the website. And apply your own words or photos. But I'd say probably over 85% of our orders come in from people who already have their design made up. And so we have to adjust, do pre-press processing to get it ready to print and print it and ship it.
For designing labels for other people, most people who come in for that purpose already have kind of a vague idea and they've got it penciled out. Doesn't look very good. And so we make that look really good. That's most of what we do for people designing. Most people don't come in and say, I have no idea what we need. But we can help them with that. But most of the time people come in with something, they already have an idea and we can help them visualize that.
But a good graphic artist, which clearly is a very successful, I mean, that's a key part of your business. They take that mediocre, somebody, and I've been on both ends of that, where they bring the ideas. Well, I want some mountains, or I want some whatever, or I want this, or I want this key piece because it's a part of our local culture or whatever it might be. And then the artist comes up with an idea, and it's like, wow.
Exactly. And sometimes they come up with a design that actually looks pretty good. But it's like messy or fuzzy. And we can just do a little bit to it to make it look like just terrific. Well,
awesome. And I was amazed. I mean, I'm not unfamiliar with the printing process and what's going on, but one of the things that you do, it's not just printing, it's cutting.
That's right.
And, which is way more critical. I mean, somebody can print something on their own laser printer in their office, but to cut a very specific design around a custom label.
That's probably the biggest part of our work in the building over here. Is the roll label presses, they run and they produce it. Then we have to take that, and we've got 2 or 3 pretty nice cutters we have to run it through, and it takes time to get that set up and done just right.
I got a couple comments coming in. Heidi says you guys are the best bosses ever. And then Bud would like to know if you do business cards or promotional materials.
We don't.
You don't.
We
no
do
business
labels.
cards. No.
Labels.
Okay, so
everybody asks those.
Here's another stickers. Stickers is a label, right? So if you need stickers, you could definitely get them from you.
We at one time we did do business cards, but in the mix of everything else, it just didn't fit right for us and what we were trying to do. So we stopped that 5 or 6 years ago.
There you go, Bud.
So have the clients that you had when you were in Portland, have most of them continued with you and stuff?
They've all come with it.
They don't really care where you are, as long as they're getting their product. And
they don't really care where we are. In fact, I think some of them like the idea of a company over here in Eastern Oregon that can provide them with what they need. So we haven't lost any business by making this move.
Wow,
Yeah.
awesome. And the only difference is that you have to get up 4 hours. You have to prepare 4 hours earlier to get something
Right.
out on the day that you're trying to get it out,
Right.
essentially. Yeah, okay. Well, let's switch gears just a little bit, because you bought this building, which is a little bit of a monstrosity.
Uh-huh.
Okay. and been there a long time. And one of the things, Jeanne, and you're probably, I don't know if you're swept into this or if you're a willing volunteer, but the part of what you have an appreciation for is the historical value of
Yes.
whatever it is. And you showed me pictures of the stuff that you did with your building in Portland, and so clearly that's just a thing. That's the thing. That's one of the things that you do. And I don't know if you've met your neighbors, Jack and Judy, who have the triangle
We
building.
have.
Okay. Yeah. They're kind of in the same vein.
They are.
It's like they adopt a building or a project, and then they just pour money into it, regardless of whether it makes financial sense or not.
Exactly.
Okay. So,
You just fall in love.
Yeah, right.
Look at the look on his face.
All
He's like,
reason flies out the window.
Yeah. So LeGrand Main Street, who I was the president of locally here, am not, but one of the things that they do is they give grant money to buildings that restore, or to owners of buildings that want to restore that building to its original likeness. Okay. It's a very specific process. You got to
Yes.
use original materials and so on and so forth. And LeGrand has been really fortunate in the past. I think we've had $500,000 that has come from LeGrand Main Street in the past. One of those was the Putnam building, a couple of the downtown buildings. And then the most recent one is the building that the bike shop is in.
Mm-hmm.
They received $200,000 a year ago. You guys received a $200,000 grant to work on
Yes.
the corner. And this isn't the whole building. It's specifically the corner, the building, the part of your building that is on the corner of Washington and Depot, right?
Yes, that's the original Elks Lodge.
Okay, so tell us that story. Talk to us
Okay.
about what that
So the
process.
Elks Lodge is on the corner of Washington and Depot.
Okay.
It was built in the Georgian style architecture in 1914. It was beautiful, with big white glazed stone blocks on the bottom part and bricks on the top, and stone trim around the windows and pillars, and stone balconies and corbels and wrought iron little balconies, French doors. It was just beautiful. And we've got a picture in our building, which you're all welcome to come and see. And it had a fire in 1970. That was a really bad time for an old building to have a fire, because everybody's just going nuts about getting rid of all that ugly old stuff.
Right.
The top floor, which was lodge rooms, was destroyed in the fire, completely destroyed. So they took whatever was left up there and removed it. So now it's a 3-story building.
Okay.
The top floor is a ballroom. The main floor, we occupy most of it. And the downstairs it's got a lot of room. It's got windows. It's got a lot of potential, but right now it's vacant. It started out as a swimming pool in the bottom floor of this building. It didn't last more than 20 years. Didn't take them long to figure out it's not a good idea to have a swimming pool in the bottom of a building. So in 1970, the fire destroyed the top floor and did a lot of damage in the entry area. And what they decided to do was buy the property next door, take the insurance money, add a wing, and make it all modern 1970s, and then cover all of that beautiful old Georgian architecture with a modern, 1970s style facade. They bricked in the windows. They covered everything over with a broken rock kind of panels. So there are no windows. The first time I came to LeGrand 5 years ago, I stood across the street from that building, and I just looked and looked and looked at it and thought, how can anything be so ugly? Why did they do that? What are they using that building for? What were they thinking?
Right. And the face that you were looking at is the face that is along Depot Street, right? I mean, that's kind of that's what you're talking about. So if you were standing at the post office,
right.
okay, and you were looking at the building, it's that face that you're talking about.
That face and the Washington Street side.
Okay, because it's very similar. It's all the same, right?
Yeah. So the alley side is basically untouched.
Okay.
The side that joins up with the modern addition is basically untouched.
Okay.
Okay. So it's the Washington Street side of that original building that's been covered over with that broken rock facade, and the Depot Street side.
Okay.
So we got a grant. Thank you to Main Street. We're very grateful for that. It's going to help tremendously in getting this job done. We're going to take all of that broken rock facade off, expose the windows, open them, put new ones back in. So the French doors in the ballroom are going to go back in, and those curved windows on the main floor are going to go back in. It's already, we've had a little bit of it taken from the top to the bottom on the Depot Street side, and you can drive on that street and look at it, and it is looking really good. We didn't know what we were going to find. You know, when you tear something off, you don't know what's going to be under there. But we've got some wonderful partners in our stonemasons. Nathan Meilenberg.
Yes, yeah.
He's a third generation
No, I know
stonemason
Nathan well
in
and
this
know his
neighborhood.
work, yeah.
He knows so much.
Yeah.
And his dad too.
Right.
So he has all this, you know, knowledge to draw from his dad and his grandpa.
Yeah.
And he's telling me about the history of the bricks and the history of the building and the construction, and how he's going to repair it, and the research that they're doing to bring it back to look really good.
Wow.
He is very, very committed to making this look really good.
I drove by the other day and got out, and you know, and from the top of the scaffolding, hi Brent, you know, and it's like, you know, and because I've known him and Rick, you know, for years, and really tremendously skilled people.
Yeah.
And I was, you know, I mean, when you and I, at the time that we first started talking about this project, I was president of LeGrand Main Street, and the big question is what is under that?
Yes.
And because I even based for your project, I called the state building people that, you know, for this whole process, and like, okay, so what happens if something under that is not restorable, or whatever the case might be, you know, and which is a huge question. And the money, the stipulations for that money is very specific. I mean, not only does it have to be restored to how it looks, but the materials have to be
the mortar that goes into the brick.
Right, which is like I mean, it just makes me shake my head at times. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because I remember I asked the gal, I said, so you all, understanding that it wasn't her personally, but you all would rather see a building not restored if it can't be restored with all of the original materials. There are times you're making that choice, and it's like, yes.
Yeah, sometimes you ruin it with your restoration efforts.
Yeah.
So the mortar alone, which is what we're working on right now.
Yeah.
The mortar needs to be the same sand. So it has to come from the same part of the same river. So it's the same sand, the same lime. And they're doing mortar differently these days. So it's a different kind of lime. It's slack lime that has to be stirred up, and then it turns liquid and it starts to boil, and you have to let it cure for a while.
Yeah.
And this is all completely different from how you do it these days.
Right.
So and then the color has to be right too. So Nathan is working with, that was Joy Sears you were talking to, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And so Nathan is talking to her to work that out so that the mortar is the same.
Wow.
And we did find a chunk of mortar from the very inside of the building that's uncontaminated from dirt and dust and paint and everything, so that we can actually see what it looked like, and we can duplicate it. Nathan knows where the sand came from in the original, and he's getting sand to match it.
Sounds expensive to me. It sounds really expensive.
Yeah.
What I love about Nathan is that he is taking his time to do it right.
Yeah.
And he's finding things that need to be done that I didn't even think about.
Yeah.
and he's doing research on it to figure out how to fix all those things.
So how far are you going to be able to get? I mean, you guys are committed to doing the project.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Okay. And so then the 200K, and I know this, the 200K is based on it's a reimbursement check. I mean, I know this because I signed one of those checks a couple of years ago. The biggest check, $150,000 or something, that is like biggest check I ever signed. But so you guys will certainly spend $200,000 easily. I mean,
Double that.
what do you think that? 400K?
Double, at least.
Wow.
Well, what are you going to do? You know,
No.
you go through life once. And
Well, let me.
what, are we going to sit back and just do nothing?
Well, let me just tell you, thank you, because ultimately people don't, I mean, regular people just don't understand the amount of difference it makes in a community when people take their own personal funds and invest that.
Right,
in
and I think
buildings.
a lot of people don't understand the reimbursement part of it.
Right.
They think you're getting $200,000 from the state to do this.
Right.
But it's matching. We got to come up with our own
Right.
amount of money.
Yes, right.
To be able to do it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It's a gift, but it's a gift with strings attached.
Right.
But there's a couple of other.
Not really free.
I don't know. There's a couple of other projects Jeanne has going on in the building.
Okay.
You ought to mention the front
Yeah.
side.
Do you know about the patio?
No. Well, I mean, I kind of might do, but you just kind of fill us in. Yeah.
So this is a separate project. That curved driveway that goes up and then back down into the street that just looks awful.
Right.
And you can't really go up to the building because there's this road that goes kind of in the building.
Right. And it's weird. It's a weird. It's
That's
always
how
been a
you.
weird
That's
thing.
how you dropped your prom date off.
Yeah.
Right.
I cut many rugs in that building. You drop your girl off right there and then drive.
Yeah,
and go
that's what it was
park.
meant to
Okay.
be. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the idea. The Alex was the man drives the lady up there, drops her off, and then he drives off. And because there's no parking lots near there.
Right.
So, but right now it's just awful. And so what we want to do, and we have also received a grant from the city, I believe, for $75,000.
Urban renewal.
Also matching to make that a patio, a raised patio. So we get rid of that driveway completely. No cars go up it. Build a retaining wall further out towards the sidewalk with plantings and railings, green plants there, and then tables and chairs and a space for musicians, a space for dancing. And then in the front portion of the building where our company is not occupying, we're putting a little espresso bar bookstore for people to go in and just spend time.
Okay.
That's going to start the third week of September this year.
Wow.
And should be mostly done before it gets too cold.
The espresso part or the patio part?
All of that.
Okay. So then where's the
you're-
entrance going to
You're
be?
going to have it done before winter, starting in the third week of September.
Mostly.
Winter can start here in like the first week of October.
I know.
It's not going to this year, but
it's
it
not,
can.
It's not me who's saying that's going to happen. It's the contractor.
Oh yeah.
He says he thinks he's got 2 months, and he probably won't finish the whole thing, but get most of it done.
They could. I mean, you could have 2 months for.
We could.
It just depends.
And you never know these days what the weather's going to do.
You only have to live here in a year to know that. You never know.
Well, was it last October? It got down to 13 degrees on October 15th.
Yeah. But the hospital has proven, I mean, that project has gone year round.
Yeah.
So, so tell me where's the entrance going to be?
Just where it is.
Okay. So then there will be a stairway up to that patio level,
the
what?
ramp that goes up there, that's going to be the entrance.
Okay.
On the other end of it, where those curved windows are, there'll be a little stairway coming up there
Okay.
too. So there'll be 2 ways of getting up.
Okay. And so then that'll be the entrance for the entire complex, for lack of a better term.
Yes.
You're building a complex. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's complex.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
It's
it's
huge.
but I mean, that has been, as different people have adopted that building over the years. It's like, I mean, I said an albatross, but I mean, it is. There's a lot of space there, a lot of floors,
Yeah.
and how to use that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It has to be multi-purpose unless you're going to be Google or Amazon
Right.
or something.
Right.
So that's not all of it. These are the first.
And then there's more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these are the first 2 or 3 phases of this
Okay.
project. The final phase is going to be the ballroom upstairs.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about that?
We're going to bring it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to put the French doors in. There's 3 French doors with big transom windows above them. So windows from the floor up to about 15 feet high.
Okay.
3 of them on the Depot Street side. We're going to bring those back.
It's
Okay.
not going to happen this year or next year. It's probably more like 3 years down the road at least.
Okay. And the ballroom, does it extend the entire building length, or is it just the original Depot Street building floor? I don't remember how that floor.
It's on the Depot Street side. It goes from the back up all the way up to Washington.
Okay.
And there's a foyer out front.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's a full length ballroom on this floor.
Wow.
Mhm.
With a stage.
Wow. Awesome.
It's probably
18-foot ceilings. It's
Yeah.
glorious.
Good. It'd be great for video.
It would.
No, I mean, no, when we walked into this building to begin with, I mean, I pushed open the suspended ceiling and like, okay, to have a studio, you got to have 14 or 15 foot
Yeah.
ceilings.
Well, the great thing about bringing the ballroom back is I don't think there's any other building in downtown LeGrand that has this big of a space for gatherings and dances and events and things.
Yeah.
No, it was always where we had. I mean, when I was in school, all the dances were there.
Yeah.
All of them. I don't remember. I don't think from middle school all the way through high school, I don't think I ever went to a dance anywhere else except for the outside.
Did you go up into the ballroom?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. This was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, that is awesome. And again, thank you. Thank you for your investment, because I know that. I mean, I'm personal friends with other folks that have poured their own money into downtown LeGrand,
Mhm.
and it's seldom appreciated.
Yeah.
Because
Yes,
because
that's
people
true.
just don't understand
Yeah.
that. I mean, I've seen this in many different projects where people will be impatient. Well, didn't they get a bunch of city money? How come that project's not done? And blah, 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 and I'd be like, yeah, okay, the city investment in that was 20% of the project. All of the rest of that money is their own personal funds, like they're building their own home and they're taking money out of their pocket. Yeah.
Well, Brent, you understand that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand that. And for us, it's making this a good quality of life for LeGrand to bring this building back like this. And it's, we brought our business over here and we got it up and running. And so that's kind of one way to do it. You bring a business in, you get it up and running, you can make that viable, and then you go to the next step, the next part of the building, and get that done.
Yeah.
And then eventually you go up to the ballroom and get that done.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we're proceeding with it.
Wow. Do you miss Portland?
Oh, we've got grandkids there.
Yeah.
We miss them.
Yeah, okay.
We've got friends there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you go back, you still go back, and
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we do go back. We had a very nice house back there with a pool and everything, and I miss all of that. Our friends, our network of friends.
Yeah.
We lived there 34 years.
Yeah.
So it's a big change for us to
Yeah.
come out here, but we like it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming. Thanks for investing. I mean, the economic significance of what you've done, creating jobs here locally, building this project, all everything that you've done has an economic value that a lot of people don't understand. If you're hiring local contractors, local builders, you know, your the employees that you're hiring. I mean, all of those things, all of that thing is money that is coming into this local economy that is making a difference.
Yes, but it's more than money.
Yeah.
There's a social benefit.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. The most important thing is to create this as a place for community to gather. That's our idea for the espresso bar.
Yeah.
It's a place for people to just gather and hang out.
Yeah.
And especially the ballroom.
Yeah.
A place for people to come together casually and for formal events.
Yeah.
It's something that La Grande doesn't have, and it would be great to provide this.
That's awesome. And the other thing I was going to say that is a win is whenever there's a company locally that makes a product that is sent out, so people out there buy it, that money comes in, you pay your employees. Yeah, that's a huge win. There's only a few, you know, there's only a few companies that do that consistently here in La Grande, and it's great to have another one. So yeah,
Great.
yeah. Thank you guys. Well, cool. Well, do you want to get us out of here, man?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
On this day, what is today? August 20.
It's the 22nd.
On this day, 1848, the United States annexed New Mexico. So New Mexico became a part. 1848.
Okay.
1864, the first Geneva Convention adopted in Geneva for the amelioration of condition of the wounded and armies in the field, signed by 12 nations. So the very first Geneva Convention, 1864. 1901, Cadillac Motor Company is founded. 1989, the first complete ring around Neptune is discovered. 1994, DNA, I like this one. DNA testing links O.J. Simpson to the murder of Nicole Simpson and Ron Golden, but he never got convicted, which is strange.
Yeah.
2018, the discovery of a bone of a 90,000-year-old hybrid human, half Neanderthal, half Denisovan. I don't know if I said that right, was found in Siberia and published in Nature magazine. 90,000-year-old hybrid human. Number one movie in America on this day, 1993. BC, you can try to take a guess.
93, number one movie.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't. I have no guess.
National Lampoon's Vacation. Number one movie, 1983 on this day.
That was a good movie.
Quote for the day. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. One more time. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind.
Good stuff.
That's all I got.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. And if you need labels, doesn't matter where you are. Or stickers. Or bumper stickers. Do you guys do bumper stickers?
Can you become the label capital over there?
Can you do bumper stickers? I mean, some of that stuff we need. So we'll be talking to you. So
all right.
Yeah, thanks again.
You.
Yeah, thanks again
for having us.
And thank you, Eastern Oregon. We'll see you soon.